Hi, today I'll be showing you how I created this Miku Crochet pixel grid for the front panel of my daughter's bag. If you ever wanted to try a crochet tapestry or pixel grid crochet, let's jump right in. So before we get started, here's all the yarn colors that I'll be using for this project. Since this is a pixel grid and it has multiple colors throughout each row, having your colors organized ahead of time is what makes this process much easier. When working a pixel grid, you'll be changing colors as you move from left to right across the chart. Each square on the grid represents one stitch, so it's important to keep an eye on the pattern and switch colors at the correct stitch count. This was actually my first time creating a crochet tapestry pixel grid project, and I decided to challenge myself by using a design with more than 5 colors. While it definitely took some patience and concentration, I was able to complete it successfully. If this is your first pixel grid or tapestry crochet project, I highly recommend starting with a design that uses only 2 colors. It will help you get comfortable with carrying yarn, changing colors, and reading the chart before moving on to more detailed designs like this one. Once you get the hang of it, adding additional colors becomes much more easier and a lot less intimidating, trust me. As you can see, this pixel grid that I am working on, it is single crochet stitches. Each square on the chart represents one single crochet stitch, which helps create the image row by row. As I'm pointing at this is the wrong side, and this right here is the right side of the project, which is more clean and more defined. And the wrong side, I could tell by, the stitching, so make sure you pick the side that you want it for the wrong side and the side that you want it the right side. And you'll see that the yarn is carrying from behind the stitches and the color changes throughout the project. There's several ways to manage your yarn when working tapestry crochet or pixel grids. One common method is carrying the unused yarn through your stitches as you work, and another option is using bobbins, which each color section has its own small yarn bundle, which means you don't have to carry the yarn across the entire project, which that was much more easier for me when I did that in the middle of the project. Since this design used more than 4 colors, yarn management becomes very important with multiple colors attached at the same time. It's easy for the yarn to become twisted or tangled if you're not paying attention. Trust me, I know. And a tip that helped me was stopping every few rows to untwist and organize my yarn. It only takes a minute, but it can save a lot of frustration later. And as you can see, the front and back panel, it is done. And I've already created the seams together. And the sides, there were 2 inches in width throughout the bag. I didn't want the bag flat. I wanted to have some kind of depth for her messenger bag, as you can see. So it was 2 inches. And if I can recall for the rows I made, just in case you guys are wondering, it was 184 rows. I did single crochet, crochet, anything you crochet can stretch over time. So I used a smaller hook and I crocheted 184 rows. It took a while, but it was worth it. And as you can see, I'm showing the back. And I did a mistake. I think I used a smaller hook for the blue side. I had to stretch it a little bit, but it did work out. But it came out so cute as my first time doing this pixel grid. So I found that taking my time and keeping yarn organized, it can make this process so much easier and smoother than I expected. So if I was able to do this the first time tapestry crochet using 5 colors, then you can too. Just start simple, trust the process, and don't be afraid to challenge yourself. Now that the pixel grid panel is complete, it's time to start working on the inside of the bag. For the liner, I picked up this fabric from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use this as the inside of the lining of my daughter's bag. And so it wasn't big enough for this bag. And plus I have to fold the seams, so it wasn't enough. So I ended up getting another fabric that matches the color of blue of this bag. So as you can see me unfolding the fabric and comparing the size of the lining, I kept thinking to myself if this is going to be enough, and it was not. Plus I needed 2 panels of this particular fabric, and I didn't get 2. I thought that folding the fabric was going to be enough. It was not. So here's the bag, and here's me showing and comparing both of the fabrics that I'm going to be using for the liner. So my plan is to add pockets inside the bag so she has place to store smaller items. This is actually another first time for me because I've never made pockets before. So I'm definitely challenging myself with this project. But that's one of the fun parts, creating handmade items, learning new skills along the way. So after measuring everything, I realized that, like I said, the 1 square was not enough. So I had to improvise. And here I go. I am using this little iron that I got at the craft store. And I saw a method to make the pockets. So I started to ironing it on all the sides. But after a while, I did a lot of research for making the pockets, and I decided to change the method of making the pockets into a different one. So you'll see in the video as I'm ironing this, I end up changing my mind. But I do want to try this method next time for the next bag, because I like to try different methods and seeing which is best. But this was one of them that I saw on YouTube. Sometimes when you're creating, you have to get creative with materials that you have available. So mixing the fabrics can be a unique touch and to make the finished piece feel even more special. So I'm going to fast forward so that you can see what I'm talking about. So once all the sides are folded and ironed, I would say like a 1/4 inch, then you're going to fold it, which I'm going to show you. This was a leftover from the fabric that I used for the liner. I figured I used the big piece to create the pocket. So once you finish ironing, then you're going to fold it again. And there you go. That's how it's going to look like. And then that pocket, you're supposed to sew it from all the sides. And I'm showing like the scraps of fabric that I have. This is the liner for the bag. And I was indecisive of either having the pocket on this bag or applying the pocket on the other fabric, just to give it some kind of contrast. So instead of doing it this way, I end up applying this pocket to the other fabric liner. And I end up changing my mind with the pocket method. So this, I showed that you have to sew it. You turn it inside out, you sew it all around, and you leave space, like a small hole. So I do hand sew it on everything that I make. However, I do have a sewing machine, but it's put away somewhere. So I do enjoy hand sewing, but I'm thinking maybe next time I'm going to use my sewing machine. It does take some time for sewing, but it's fun. So once you sew all the sides, you have to leave a big gap. I would say like an inch. I would say an inch in the middle. So you're going to turn it inside out for the pocket. So this was a different method that I found. I didn't do the other method where all the corners were folded or anything. I ended up doing this method. Now that we have finished sewing, we're going to go ahead and unclip the top part of the pocket. This is the gap. Okay, there's a hole right here that I did not sew. So we are going to turn it inside out. See, I'm showing that where you sew, you stop, and you sew along the lines. Then you're going to turn it inside out. Just be very careful and not too rough. So I end up grabbing from the corner and also clip the corners too. Make sure you clip the corners. I kind of sewed a little too close to the edge, me not even thinking I was in La La Land. So just make sure that you sew in a little bit more in, like a 1/4 inch, not too close to the edge like I did. But like I said, I had so much on my mind. I was trying to finish this bag before her birthday. Once you have the corners of the fabrics clipped, you're going to turn it inside out. This is one of the methods that I saw on YouTube to create the pockets. And you can also use something sharp to make it pointy. You use a crochet hook, scissors, a pen to push the corners out. We are officially done with this pocket. All you have to do is just sew in that part. So when you sew in the pockets, you're going to sew from there, down, down, and back up. You're not going to sew the top part. You want to leave it open so you have a pocket, an open pocket. So this pocket is going to be attached to the blue liner. And vice versa, the blue pocket will be attached to the flower liner. So I finally finished the blue pocket and it's sewed on to the flower liner. I did realize after that I made the pocket, it wasn't taut, so it was a little floppy. But like I said, this is a challenge and this is me learning as I go, creating this bag with you guys. So here I'm showing both of the liners with the pockets. And this is my first time doing a zipper. I had anxiety and was stressing about it. After watching so many videos, I decided to just do it. So here I am prepping for the zipper. I did sew the bottom part of the zipper. Now I'm going to attach the liner to the other side of the zipper. And believe it or not, it was actually pretty easy. I was just stressing myself out. I didn't have a thread that color, so I just ended up using, I think I used white and black by accident, not even thinking. So here I am showing that I am applying the liner to the other side of the zipper. And then I'm going to sew along the line and then sew along the sides as well. So here's me sewing the top part. Some people usually sew the sides and then the zipper, but I decided to do it this way. So maybe next time I'll try the other way around, the other method. And here we go with the liners all sewed in and the zippers as well. I haven't tried the zipper yet, so I will show you guys. Also make sure you sew the sides, see where I'm pointing where the zipper is at, so that it does not come off, and also on the side as well. I shouldn't have cut the zipper too short at the end, but listen, I'm just learning. So far so good. And when applying this, when sewing this into the bag, you can't see the other thread, so that gets hidden. And yeah, I know it kind of looks bad, but like I said, I'm just learning as I go. Now, the moment of truth. Testing out the zipper. Bam! Perfect. So now we're looking inside the bag. How you doing? See how the pocket's a little floppy? I didn't like that. So definitely next time I have to work on how to not make it like that. Could be the fabric, or I just didn't taught it. See how floppy it is, but it came out cute. It came out really cute. So I'm showing at the end that I have to make, since the bag is 2 inches in depth of the bag. So I have to fold the bag like this and then measure 2 inches with the ruler. And then, so what I did is I have to make it across exactly like that, like I'm doing in the video. Once I measure 2 inches, I marked it, and then you're going to sew it. And that's what it's going to give the bag some depth. And you have to do it on both ends. Make sure you fold it properly, measure 2 inches, and then you're going to sew it across on both ends. Okay, so here I go showing the bag. It is 2 inches around the bag, 2 inches in depth. So always make sure you measure. And if you don't have this like in your bag and it's just front and back panel, no extra like depth or anything, then you don't have to worry about this method. The liner is complete. We're all done. The only thing I have to do is sew in the strap. But look how beautiful it came out. Obviously, I have to fix that part and clean it off a bit. So here's the zipper, and as you can see, you can't see the other thread, the threading that I did with the liner on the zipper. The zipper worked really well, and I did make a loop for her keychains. So I think I chained 5 or 6 so she can hang some of her favorite keychains on it. Well, she loves keychains. Here's a liner. Like I said, it's a little floppy, but I think it came out perfect. Okay, so we are completely done. Liners sewed in, pockets, zipper, everything's done except for the straps. I did a mistake with this one. I should have sewed on the straps before I sewed the zipper on. So next bag that I'm making, I'm gonna make sure I don't do that. So with this right here, as you can see, I'm showing the fuzzies on the bag. So I want to give my bag a cleaner look. I did use this fabric shaver just to get rid of some of the bulk. And then I used this heat gun to help clear out the fuzzies on the bag. I did see someone on, I think it was YouTube or Facebook, I can't recall, but they did use this heating gun for the yarn to give it this clean look. This is the fabric shaver that I'm showing you that I purchased from Target. It was $5. They had them in like different colors. So I decided to use this on my crochet projects and on my commissions that I work on, just to give it a clean look. Lurk. Anyways, but since I saw the heat gun method, which gives a more cleaner look, I think I'm gonna start using the heating gun. So
look at this. I'm so proud of myself. I love admiring my work, but it came out beautiful. And mind you, this is my first time doing a pixel grid. So this was a challenge for me, besides the pocket, the liners, and sewing the zipper. And it came out really nice. Kudos. I'm telling you. Creative mama. And don't give up. And if you do want to try the pixel grid, I recommend, again, do 2 colors first, just so you could get the gist of the pixel grid, and then add more colors on your next projects.
Now for the final finishing touch on my daughter's messenger bag. I wanted to add a little something special that makes it truly hers. I purchased this leather tag from Amazon and decided to personalize it using HTV to add my own branding. Of course, I had to add my signature touch, made with Love Momma, because every stitch, every detail, and every little mistake along the way was made with so much love. Adding this tag really brought the whole bag together and gave it that handmade professional finish. It's the little details that make the handmade piece feel extra special. And that officially completes my daughter's tapestry crochet messenger bag. This project definitely challenged me from creating the pixel grid to adding the liner and learning how to make pockets for the first time. But I'm so proud of how it turned out. But the crochet journey doesn't stop here. I'll be working on another messenger bag for my son next, so make sure you stay tuned because you don't want to miss what I create for him. And if you'd like to see me make more tapestry crochet designs, especially anime characters, drop your suggestions in a comment below. You never know, your idea might be the next design I bring to life. Thank you so much for watching, supporting my handmade journey, and follow along with my creations. I'll see you on the next project.